Super Troopers 2 reunites the Broken Lizard boys for another round of highway patrol shenanigans. The entire crew has returned to bring the same lovable cast of state troopers from the original, where this time they are being sent over to Canada to save this new patrol station while this border dispute is going on between the US and Canada. The original came out in 2001, and at the time it didn't get the greatest reception, but eventually developed a cult following mainly with Generation Y. Much like the American Pie or Jackass films, there is a dedicated Broken Lizard fanbase that enjoys their movies for what they are. Super Troopers is a really fun, enjoyable comedy that's easy to watch and always leaves you on a high note. Even though the movie is basically a collection of pranks, there's never really any mean-spiritedness to it, so it's very easy to come back to and all the jokes still make you laugh. It's not the strongest film plot-wise, and is more interested in setting up sketches and gags that have a loose plot threaded throughout them. But the fans know that. You watch Super Troopers to have a fun time with the cast, and the sequel Super Troopers 2 captures that same exact spirit. As fans know, this film has taken a long time to get to cinemas, starting with an Indiegogo campaign way back in 2015, and finally racking production in 2017. This is a film for Broken Lizard fans that have supported the group for all these years, but people new to the comedy group will get some laughs out of this film too. Super Troopers 2 more or less borrows the plot from the first movie and reworks it, playing with the formula that worked last time to give some fun surprises for fans. A lot of comedy sequels that have come many years after the original, like Zoolander 2 or Anchorman 2, have typically been rehashes of old gags and storylines, and a lot of the time they just don't work as well the second time. Here, Super Troopers 2 is probably one of the few exceptions. As with the first one, this movie isn't interested in a super deep plot that'll change your life, it just wants you to have a good, fun time. Some of the classic gags do return and are used in really fun ways, so if you are someone who is familiar with the first film, you'll probably get a kick out of seeing some of the greatest hits. But some new gags do change things up a bit that I thought were really funny, particularly with a scene with Thorny and Foster interrogating this American couple. This film is a fair bit more raunchier than the original as well, but they never go full gross out. And if anyone ever has a lamer joke in the movie, someone is usually there to take the piss out of them for it. The boys are all as entertaining as ever, and even though nothing major is done with the characters, some of the relationships do get changed up, which was fun to see. Rob Lowe is a fun addition to the cast as the mayor of a Canadian town, and he gets a lot of the fun Canadian stereotypes thrown at him. In fact, this movie really is just an excuse for the American and Canadian cast to just take the piss out of each other, so you do get a lot of American and Canadian comparisons that are all just good-natured. Fans of that early 2000s group of comedies will get a kick out of seeing some fun cameos that I won't spoil here, but instead of the cameos pulling you out of the movie and being for the hell of it, the cameos actually managed to serve some purpose, which was really awesome. The Canadian Mounties, who this time have the rivalry with the Troopers, are pretty fun as the Canadian counterparts, but I don't think they're quite as good as the rival cops from the first movie. Does Super Troopers 2 rehash things from the original? Sure. As a lot of comedy sequels do, they go for the greatest hits, but whereas other sequels fall flat and come across as more of a cash grab, Super Troopers 2 is clearly made with a lot of love, and absolutely with the fans in mind. I think there's a nice balance of some of the classic gags gelling well with some newer material. Fans will definitely be the ones that get the most out of this film, but I think you'd be fine seeing it if you weren't familiar with the original. Is it an all-amazing film? No. But it's an enjoyable time despite its flaws, that I honestly can't wait to watch back-to-back with the original. Super Troopers 2 gets a 6.5 out of 10 from me. Guys, I hope you like this review. If you want to see more reviews just like this one, stay right here for your Mono Fix. Bye guys.